The first phase of the inquiry into foreign interference wraps up today. For the latest on this, we're joined live now by CTV's Jeremy Sharon. Jeremy, thanks so much for joining us. So what are we expecting to learn today from the testimony?
Yeah, gee, look, this is this whole preliminary round of public hearings has been focused on laying down the groundwork and determining parameters around the sharing of information, often secret information, some of it, and trying to be as transparent as possible while maintaining focus on national security. And so today we're going to hear from Dominic LeBlanc, Safety Minister, Public Safety Minister, who has just started to testify. And we'll hear a little bit more about the government's stance when it comes to sharing some of this information, classified information at times. And so we heard from the director of CSIS yesterday on tactics they're going to use to make sure that they're only sharing the information that they can share. But CSIS has said that they are willing to and wanting to share as much information with the public as they can. Now, yesterday, the federal government tabled a report expressing concerns around sharing information and challenges they will face surrounding practical limitations. That report had federal lawyers saying that the public release of intelligence about interference threats from China and others would risk exposing vital Canadian Security Intelligence Service information. And so we'll hear more today from the Public Safety Minister on where the government stands here when it comes to trying to share as much information as possible while still being mindful of national security and being careful with some of these documents that include some different levels of secrecy and some highly classified information.
Yeah, it raises a lot of questions of how do we proceed moving forward, especially when everything is digitized to this day. So what happens after today's proceedings?
Yeah, so look, exactly, like all of those challenges are meant to be dealt with in this first phase. And so we're hearing, like I said, today on the government's perspective. After this, work will continue behind the scenes, but in terms of the public hearings portion, the inquiry will pause until March as the work continues to try and move forward with the best ways to share as much information as possible. And then in March, the inquiry will start to dig into some of those details. We'll start to learn, the public will learn as much as possible about these alleged instances of foreign interference in the 2019-21 federal elections by countries like China, India, Russia, others as well. And we'll start to learn whether or not definitively there was interference, what that interference looked like, how it was handled by the government when they found out what was happening or when they were made aware of what was going on. And then later on in the process, we're also going to learn how well prepared the federal government is to handle these things and what they can do to be better prepared down the line. So look, this has been a preliminary round meant to try and determine how much information can be shared. And then the real work will begin in March when we start to see the inquiry look at some of the details of these allegations.
It definitely will be a long process, but it'll be fascinating once those results are released. CTV's Jeremy Sharon, thank you so much for giving us that update.